This video is brought to you by Aaron Clary, author of The Curse of the High IQ, all of our wonderful fans on Patreon, and viewers like you. Thank you.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Inspiration comes from funny places. An idea can come to you in a dream, or the toilet, and it can give you a spark of creativity that helps you go on to create or solve a problem you were once faced with. My inspiration for this video comes from a smug douchebag on the Nerdist YouTube channel. Why Star Wars Needs to Let the Past Die is an 8-minute waste of time that centers around this guy, Dan Casey. Now, for legal reasons, I can't show you clips of the video because I really don't want to get into a war with the Nerdist, but I'll give you a link to the video and you can tell me what you think. The video centers around this guy, Dan Casey, telling Star Wars fans what they need while conveniently glossing over The Last Jedi's problems. I'm not bothered that he likes the film. Well, maybe he fears that not loving us will get him fired. After all, this video got only a little over 32,000 views from a channel with 2.4 million subs. It's not like we've been able to do that over a shorter period of time. But I digress. I don't have a problem with his opinion on the film. What I have a problem with is the way he defends it. Every ardent defender of The Last Jedi says that the film subverts expectations. Subverting expectations is used as a positive trait. You don't like The Last Jedi? Well, it subverted expectations. You see, you can subvert expectations by smacking someone in the face during the middle of a conversation, or you can throw soup at your waiter. That'll subvert their expectations, but that's not always a good thing. It's the standard defense at this point. It's the tired go-to for those of lesser intelligence. It's the new way of towing the company line, and our friends over at the Nerdist fall in line every time. Like Collider, those people aren't celebrities. They don't bring anything new to the conversation. They want desperately to hold on to whatever little foothold they have in terms of relevancy. Even their leader, Chris Hardwick, barely scratches the D-list, and the rest of the crew are low-rent rejects from The Big Bang Theory.
Howard, artificial women are your department. You want to take this? Nah, it would just freak him out.
It's like pleading the fifth in court.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And when you plead the fifth, you're attempting to use it as a defense to avoid self-incrimination. When you use subvert expectations in a court of opinion, all you're doing is exposing yourself as someone who can't accurately or honestly defend The Last Jedi. Bro, you weren't a fan? No. Bro, you just don't understand the film. It subverted your expectations. How? That argument falls flatter than Daisy Ridley, and I'm not talking about her acting. Videos like this only stoke the flames of fandom. They attempt to play the cool-headed middle ground, but they just come off as annoying and indecisive. Again, it's like they're afraid to say anything negative to avoid that accusation at this point. A word that you can use to describe content like the Nerdist video is misguided. It's also a waste of your time. People like this are churched-up shills. They get fancy sets, snarky t-shirts, but ultimately they're as replaceable as a set of AA daisies. Batteries. If Disney truly intends to let the past die, they wouldn't make merchandise like Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder for kids. They wouldn't make a Han Solo movie. They wouldn't keep Chewbacca, R2-D2, and C-3PO around. They gave free rein to a round-headed loser, and it failed. And when they make something as bad as The Last Jedi, they shift the blame and tell us it's our fault. As I've said before, they can't have it both ways. They either leave the past alone and let it die without shitting on the fans, or they embrace history while moving forward. Time will tell just how wrong and quite frankly useless places like the Nerdist, Collider, and Screen Junkies are. I'm not saying they're directly funded by Disney, but in the case of the Nerdist, they are funded by Legendary Entertainment, a subsidiary of the Wanda Group, who are a majority shareholder of the AMC theater chain. And remember folks, corporate interests always supersede those of creativity and honesty. You can't trust someone who has a corporate overlord to answer to. You never know if they're being honest or not. To be fair, the video does say it's a problem for Disney to keep playing in the old playground that everyone knows, and that they should move forward. But what bothers me is that they won't even admit a failure with Disney. They keep harping on the fact that it's the fans who are the problem. Fan Stick is a shit movie. I don't think that Fox is still going on about, it's the fans, they hated the Black Human Torch. No, they've just accepted that the movie's fucking terrible, and they've moved on. But not with Star Wars. They keep running it into the ground. And another defense I'm really tired of hearing is when people try to chastise those that use "you've ruined my childhood." I think ruining your childhood is a dumb phrase to use, but it's meant to be hyperbolic. It's not meant to be taken seriously. You actively didn't ruin someone's childhood because the childhood's already taken place. You can't go back in time and kick sand in the kid's face or dump out their juice box. All you can do, though, is you can color the way they perceived things as a child. Now, some would say that's growing up, but not necessarily. For example, Han Solo, he's been actively ruined by Disney. So, as an adult, when you go back and you watch the movies, you know what a lame ending his life comes to. And I think that's where a lot of people that say Star Wars ruined my childhood comes from, because Star Wars was a very pure thing to a lot of people, young or old. It was a very basic story of good versus evil, black and white. Yeah, the gray characters are interesting at times, but when you get somebody like Rian Johnson, who couldn't make a straightforward basic film if you paid him $1 million, you get this weird nihilistic worldview of some hipster piece of shit. Frankly, that's what he is. He's just some fucking hipster who made 1 or 2 movies and a couple episodes of Breaking Bad, but he knew how to kiss Kathleen Kennedy's ass and tell that woman what she wanted to fucking hear. And she's just as much to blame, too. And you know who else is to blame? Places like The Nerdist. Because antagonizing fans never works. If anything, you need a channel or a place or a movement to unite fans and to let these companies know that you don't like what they're doing, and they can't hide behind the phrase sexist or racist or bigot or anything. It's like in the comic book industry. All these self-entitled pieces of crap are writing these books that no one wants to read. Independent books make so much more money. That's why stuff like the Diversity in Comics book can gross $150,000 from a Kickstarter, because modern comic books are garbage. Now, movies are a lot more expensive, and it's going to take a bigger uprising to do that. But we live in an era where professional movie equipment is available to all, and it's not very cost prohibitive anymore. 4K cameras can be bought, lighting, everything. There are tons of amateur filmmakers on YouTube that produce content that rivals those of major studios. All they really need is the marketing budget to get their work out there. And I think a concerted effort from fans can truly change the face of entertainment and bring us something that helps us not live in the past. And the past at this point is Star Wars. So Disney, if you want us to let the past die, we will. And we'll let Star Wars die right along with it. So that's it for today's video, folks. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch World Class Bullshitters. If you're a super fan, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit your little bell notification, and if you can, join our Patreon page. $1 a month goes a long way. $5 a month, which is only 17 cents a day, goes even further, and you get tons of access to content. We just put up a Blade commentary. Not so much a commentary as an actual discussion for the first, 20 minutes or so, where we discuss the relevancy of Blade, Black Panther, how Black Panther's kind of overrated because there were black superhero movies before Black Panther, and there will be many afterwards. Blade doesn't get the respect it deserves because in many ways, if Blade was a flop, the MCU that you and I love wouldn't be around to this day. So I want you guys out there to tell me what you think of this situation. Do channels like The Nerdist appeal to you? Because they don't appeal to me. To me, The Nerdist is like the Funko Pop of pop culture discussion. They're branded, lifeless hunks of information. They're very safe and corporately produced. Legendary Entertainment owns The Nerdist. They produced The Dark Knight. You think they would have said anything negatively about The Dark Knight had it come out right now? Nope, because corporate interests supersede those of creativity. And yes, people can like what I dislike or you dislike. It doesn't make them a shill. But it's very convenient when a dude who works for Disney happens to praise Star Wars just because he works at Disney. So you can't trust those things. Is there a chance that he loved the movie? Of course there's a chance. But unless I hear a little more honesty out of people like that, I'm still not going to trust them. But let me know what you think about The Nerdist. Let me know what you think about people like Dan Casey. I don't know anything about the guy. I just was sent this video by a fan. I checked it out, and I was really on board with the video in the beginning. I thought everything the guy was saying was really good about Star Wars and the history and the legacy. And then about the 5-minute marker, he just flipped the script and went full-on shill for Disney. And that's the kind of stuff I can't stand. We live in a world now where it's even harder to find honest entertainment reviews. People on YouTube get paid off. People in the media get paid off. Money's everyone's interest. And remember that when you listen to a company that has a YouTube channel review a movie, because, like I said 2 times before, corporate interests supersede that of creativity. Thank you for watching, folks. I'll be back with more content later in the week. Tomorrow night is World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture, episode number 122. Yeah, we've been doing it for quite a long time, and it never gets old, because you know what? Entertainment never gets old. Yeah, sometimes it's the same old shit, but there's always somebody to make fun of. And you know World Class Bullshitters is going to do it. Also, Saturday features the return of This Week in Star Wars, and this has been a doozy of a week. I got a story you may have not heard about anywhere else, and I'm excited to talk about it.